Hi kids. Okay, now I am going to do today on this video lessons 13, 14, and 15. So if you recall back when you first started, when you were a beginner at the beginning of this year, and you had trouble just doing lesson 4 all the way to the bottom, and now you're getting so good that we're going to do 3 actual pages just right now. Okay, so follow me. All right, so I'm on book lesson 13 to start, which happens to be when you complete your A string. I am going to do it for both violin and viola, and I'll swap books out, but there you go. So if you're violin, here's all your notes on the A string, which you probably already know. And if you're viola, here's all your notes on the A string. They sound the same, they're the same, they just look differently because if you play viola, you need alto clef, or violin, you need treble clef, okay? You've played this whole page, you've done all these notes, you know how to play them, it's a piece of cake. I, right now, am going to talk about, in your book, number 3 in your book, which you have looked at already, but I'm just going to play the D scale. I'm going to show you, we've done it already, so I'm just going to review it to get started. I recommend you play along with me, and if you can play this with me, then you know you've got it. But if you recall, here it is all written out for you, but I recommend that you memorize it because it's super easy and we use it all the time, okay? I'm going to play it today. Here it is all written out. It's D, E, F sharp, G on your D string, and then you go to your A string, A, B, C sharp, high D on your A string. And if you remember, it's easy because it's the same fingering on 2 strings. You do the same thing on both strings. And you just go all the way up, and then when you get there, you would just turn back around and come back down backwards, okay? I also, as always, recommend, we're going to do each note 4 times. And that way it gives you time to think going all the way up and all the way down, okay? So, I'm going to start on viola. So if you play a violin, it's going to sound the same. You play with me. You're starting on your D string. Bow, hold is good. Bows and fingers on the same string. And you're going to play 4 Ds and 4 Es and 4 F sharps and 4 Gs. And then you're going to move right over to your A string and do exactly the same fingering, 4 As, 4 Bs, 4 C sharps, and 4 high Ds. And remember, I'm on a viola, so if you play violin, it's your other strings. As long as you're on your A string, and you know. I will call it out just like I would do in lessons, okay? So I'm going to play along. So each note 4 times. So, butt on the edge of the chair, feet flat on the floor, instrument up to your ear, down to your collarbone. Get your left hand ready with your bunny house and your bunny hole. And then get your fingers over the D string. Have them all ready. We're starting with D, no fingers first. So do not put them down till it's E time. Then we're going to start on D. 4 Ds. 1, 2, all the way up, go. D, E, F sharp, G, over to A, bow and fingers, B, C sharp, high D, now backwards, C sharp, take one off, B, A, get ready for G, over to G, throw them down, F sharp, E, D. Okay, that's the whole thing with me calling it out. You can do 1 apiece or 2 apiece. We did 4 because it's easier to think that way. But if you can play along with me, then you know you've got it. If you did every one of them with only 1 time each, then you know you've really got it. I'll do it once like that. D, E, F sharp, G, and then over to A, B, C sharp, D, and then come down backwards. Here I go. And if it sounds like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, then you know you've got it. If you're missing a note, remember a couple of tricks. Don't accidentally do your second finger halfway back like F and C. Before you do the sharp, you skip those notes entirely, okay? And then also when you come back down, don't forget, you go down to your first finger and then play the open A before you go over to the G. Don't skip right over, okay? So those are a couple tricks if you're not with me and you're like, why am I not with me? Or go on Google Classroom and go, I'm doing it, but I'm not with you. What's wrong? And I will help you, okay? All right, so honestly, that's it for lesson 13. You already know how to play all the notes and all that stuff, but the scale, super important because we're gonna, when we get back together again, we are gonna use it all the time. We use it all the time, okay? All right, so that brings us to the next page. I'm putting this down. Okay, if you have your book, lesson 13, this page is performance page 2, and it's the Little Tom Tinker song. And if you notice, there's 3 parts. You could only play, you only need to try the A part, but it's the same as this Little Tom Tinker down here. So I'm actually going to not do this on a lesson right now. I can help you if you want privately, but don't you worry. I'm going to turn the page. That brings us to lesson 14. Okay, this is super easy. Now that you've learned 2 full strings, you know half your notes on half your strings. You're halfway there. So now you're going to learn a few different things on those notes, but no new note for a couple of weeks. So pretty easy. You're just going to learn some stuff to do with the notes you learned, okay? And the first thing you're going to learn, which you're going to laugh about, is lesson 14 is this picture and this picture. And the word is pizzicato. It's Italian, pizzicato. And short pizz is the word we sometimes use. Is it on here? Yep, pizz right there. I call it pizz for short, same way as I say orc for orchestra, because we're always in a rush. Plucking the string, which you already know how to do. Do you remember? Butt on the edge of the chair, feet flat on the floor, instrument up to your ear, down to your collarbone, and then hold it here from back in the beginning, and then make an L with your fingers for a loser. And then rest your thumb on the edge of the fingerboard. Remember this? Don't rest it back here, don't rest it back here, don't not rest it at all. Edge of the fingerboard up here. And then your index finger plucks. So lesson 14 is just a trip back to the beginning of when you first started to play. And if you look at the song on lesson 14, the song is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which if you are in 3rd grade, it's in your packet. It's almost exactly the same Twinkle, Twinkle you have in your packet. So now instead of bowing it, pizzicato it. Arco for bow. Check it out. I'm going to play it once. There's some repeats, but I'm not going to do it. You don't need me to do it. You can do it. Here we go. Here I go. Twinkle, twinkle. Couldn't be easier. Okay, now, if you look though, one little extra part I'm going to show you. I did this, right? Sometimes you have to go back and forth now that you're getting more advanced between bowing, arco, and pizzicato, and you got to be able to do it fast. So sometimes you don't put your bow on the stand while you're playing. You actually have to hold your bow. I'm going to show you how to do it. Same song, same pizzicato. So instead of playing, what you do is, watch this, I'm really close, okay? Instead of holding your bow hold with your bow hold, you, in one swoop, hopefully, grab it in your fist, like that. And if you look, the bottom of the bow hairs are down here by my the crux in my thumb there, right in this part of my hand, so that I'm holding the bow, and notice I'm down below the hairs so that I'm not touching my bow hairs at all. It's perfect. You just got it in your fist, and then while you're doing that, ready? You hold your bow in your fist. Do your L for loser while holding your bow. Notice how I just did it. Hold fist, these guys. Then you just do exactly what you did, but you just grab in your bow. And it feels a little weird and your bow might flop around, but it doesn't matter as long as it's not banging into anything or hurting anybody. Okay, so now thumb still where my thumb was, index finger's still gonna pluck. Looks like this. And if all of a sudden you had to go back and do it with your bow, arco, watch. Ta-da! Bow hold. Almost no time at all. So here's this one more time. This is the most important part. You've got it in your bow hold, right? Which should look like this. Thank you very much. And then, boom. Okay? And then you just stick your index finger out. So it's this move you just get good at. And it's kind of fun. Back and forth. Okay? So that's it. Ta-da! Lesson 14. I recommend for lesson 14 that to practice pizzicato, go practice any of your other songs pizzicato. If you're in 4th or 5th grade, play Integrity or Banana Bow or whatever, pizzicato with holding your bow. Or if you're in 3rd grade, go try your packet with pizzicato. So just go for it. Doesn't matter. You're just practicing actually doing pizzicato. Okay? All right, I'm going to keep going because that's 2. That's lesson 13. And then, then there's a string theory page, which you should do at home. I'm going to assign that on Google Classroom. You'll see. Keep going. Flip to lesson 15. Okay. Lesson 15 happens to be something called the 8th note, which is that little squiggly note that you've probably seen, but maybe didn't know what it was. And it talks a little bit about it. Receives half a beat of sound. However, I got to tell you, in this book, we don't ever play 8th notes that look like this. So what I'm telling you is take a little pencil or just remember and X out that whole page. We're not doing lesson 15 the way it's written. Okay? So congratulations. You have now made it all the way to lesson 16, which I will show you on the next video. But what you want to do this week is make sure you can play all your D string notes, all your A string notes, that you can read them all, look them up if you're not sure, or message me if you need help, and practice pizzicatoing just to get used to it. And then next lesson, I'm going to show you what lesson 16 is. And if you look at it in your book and you're like, oh my goodness, don't worry, it's a piece of cake. All right, that's it for now. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I miss you guys, I really so much. Okay, bye.